Baltimore, Maryland, August 30th. A Washington Redskins helmet sits on the grass before the start of the Redskins and Baltimore Ravens preseason game at M&T by Rob Carr. Getty Images, set to have just $21 million in cap space at the start of the new league year. On March 13th, the Washington Redskins don't have a lot of breathing room in free agency. They have the capacity to sign one or two starter-quality players, but after that, they'll be pressed for even the quaintest coinage. With that in mind, the Redskins have a number of cut candidates on the roster who, if released, could free up a good deal of cap space. But as much as many would like Washington to be flexible with their cap, Washington has been anything but at the start of the offseason. No contracts have been cut or restructured. No players have been extended, to spread out the cap burdens. Things are very quiet in Ashburn. That doesn't bode well for their free agency showing in 2019. Want your voice heard? Join the Riggo's Rag team. Write for us. While the Redskins can free up cap space ahead of free agency, however, they can also resist their habitual impulses, and uphold a frugal nature throughout the free agency process itself. To do that, they may want to pick out specific positions to avoid overpaying in the coming cycle. Here are 3 positions that stand out in particular, as areas to prioritize elsewhere. Page 2 CARSON.ca, December 9th, wide receiver Tyrell Williams. Photo by Sean M. Haffey, Getty Images. The 2019 free agent wide receiver class seems, at the very least, overvalued. And if not overvalued, then very uncertain. Among the top names in the 2019 free agent wide receiver class, you'll find Tyrell Williams, John Brown, Adam Humphries, Golden Tate, and the Redskins' own Jamison Crowder. There are other names trickled throughout. Devin Funchess is another option, and veterans like Demaryius Thomas, Randall Cobb, and Pierre Garçon automatically garner modest interest. The 2019 free agent wide receiver class is full of complementary targets, but the Redskins have a need for dynamic talent on the offensive side of the ball, and for an affordable price. That's a combination they won't find in March this year, no matter how many zeros they might write on a check to force the issue. Per Spotrac, the value to be had in free agency pales in comparison to what might be found in the 2019 NFL Draft. Tyrell Williams' expected market value hovers around $10 million, as does Adam Humphries and Golden Tate's. Jamison Crowder is also rumored to be seeking that amount, and players like Funchess and Cobb aren't far behind, with respective market values of $9 million and $8 million. This isn't to say that some players in free agency might exceed their monetary worth at their next destination. Williams has the size-speed combination to potentially excel in a premier role, and John Brown, a somewhat cheaper option with an estimated market value of around $6 million, has the speed and route running savvy to provide good returns. All that said, the Redskins need a player who can elevate a unit, and banking on uncertain assets in free agency, at prices up to $10 million, might not be the safest way to use limited cap space. Especially with a very deep receiver class on the way in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Redskins might be better served to shop at the wide receiver bargain bin instead. Page 3 NEW Orleans, Louisiana, January 13th, Teddy Bridgewater. Photo by Chris Craven, Getty Images. After trading for former Broncos quarterback Case Keenum, the Redskins don't have as immediate a need at quarterback. The need is still fairly immediate, but with a stopgap starter in place, the Redskins don't need to have a knee-jerk reaction in the form of a destructive, cumbersome free agent acquisition. Overpaying for any quarterback in the free agent market in 2019 would be foolish for the Redskins. The Redskins have seen firsthand what hefty quarterback guarantees can do to a roster's flexibility, and they will continue to learn as Alex Smith's contract runs its course. Luckily for the Redskins, they don't need to overpay for a quarterback. Not anymore. Not after trading for Case Keenum. Whatever you think of Keenum, the Redskins made a logical move by trading for the veteran and shaving his cap hit. Now, Keenum, who's under contract for only 2019, gives Washington's quarterback room insurance, at the low price of $3.5 million. Keenum's not a quarterback one can necessarily win with, but he saves the Redskins from falling victim to their own bad habits, especially in a year where the best free agent quarterbacks could consist of Ryan Tannehill, disgraced starter, Ryan Fitzpatrick, journeyman starter every other week, Nick Foles, starter only in January, and Teddy Bridgewater, who may not even be a quality starter. With Keenum, the Redskins keep their options open, and they no longer have to feel inclined to add an expensive free agent on the market. Because of the trade for Keenum, overpaying for another veteran quarterback in a week should be the last thing on the Redskins' agenda. Page 4 FOXBOROUGH, MA, December 2nd, Trey Flowers. Photo by Billy Wise, Getty Images. The early signs point to the Redskins letting Preston Smith walk, as he could get a contract with as large an annual value as $13 million. If Smith gets that kind of money, then the Redskins are better off replacing him in the 2019 NFL Draft, for a number of reasons. Reason no. 1. The potential Smith replacements in free agency, if they're worthwhile, will almost certainly cost more than Smith himself. Trey Flowers, who is considered to be one of the top free agent options at edge rusher, will command a whopping $15.7 million, per Spotrac. And because so many top-tier edge rushers were franchise-tagged by their respective teams, the value of the remaining players will only be driven up, further nudging the cap-starved Redskins out of the race. Next, NFL Mock Draft 4.0, Redskins select a WR phenom. Luckily for the Redskins, if there's a time to sit out free agency at one of their biggest impending needs, it's now, in 2019. The 2019 edge rusher draft class is incredibly top-heavy, with Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, Josh Allen, Montez Sweat, Clelin Ferrell, Ja'Kai Polite, and Jalen Ferguson all garnering first-round hype. At number 15, they could take the best available of those players, or they could draft Chase Winovich or Christian Miller in round 2. Either way, the Redskins get a starter opposite Ryan Kerrigan, for a fraction of the price it would take to find one in free agency.